Hello, today I want to talk to you about you will get your wings. You know, just like the caterpillar, he is like crawling around in the dirt. He is like trying to get over these little cold leaves and just struggling. And he remembers the day when he was up in that tree and he could see forever what he thought was forever. And he had such dreams and he had this vision for his life of what he was going to do while he was up on that mountaintop. But then all of a sudden something happened, right? This big wind or the branch shook. Something unexpected happened to him and he came plummeting down. Maybe he just fell right on his head and he was like, this hurts. What happened to me? And the vision that he had was gone, right? The dreams that he had in his heart were knocked just right out of his heart. And now here it is. He's been crawling around for weeks and months, and it's endless despair. It's just endless digging in the dirt. And all that he comes into contact with are slugs and worms, and he's like, this isn't what I thought life would be. What happened? And so he lost all of his hope. He lost all of his hope. And that might be you, right? You might have been put on a mountaintop by God, and you had such dreams in your youth of what you were going to do, who you were going to reach. God had this thing in your heart that was so big that you wouldn't even tell anybody about it because you thought there's no way. Even though you were on that mountaintop, you thought there's no way I can even soar that high, right? So here it is. Life came along and you experienced life, right? It knocked the wind right out of you. It knocked you right down to the ground. And there you are crawling around with the slugs of life, right? Maybe you came out of an abusive childhood where everybody just was abusive, abandoning you, neglecting you, right? And now you have like abandonment issues, so you cling to these terrible relationships with people, and you're in trauma bonds. You just can't get away, even though you're like not happy and you don't really like this person or how they treat you, but you're just so afraid of abandonment melange. Like if you leave them, then you're just going to be afraid that you'll just die. You won't be able to make it on your own, things like this. Or maybe you had a situation at your job where you were doing okay, but then you went ahead and you made these like wrong decisions, and then the report turned out bad, or that project that you were working on, it just kind of failed, and now the company is like, they're demoting you, they're releasing you, you've lost all the luster that you once had. Maybe you're in a relationship and you stepped out, you did something wrong, you said something you shouldn't have said, you did something you shouldn't have done, and now it's like ended. And now there you are, you find yourself and you're just like in this hopeless state. You were up high, you were living the life, you had the dreams, and then wham, that situation happened, knocked the wind right out of you, and there you are down there with that caterpillar, and you're saying there's no way, I'm too old, or I don't have the energy, I don't have the fight in me anymore. When I hit the ground this time, that was it. I cannot climb that tree again, because you know what, I can't take another fall like this. I can't take another hit. I don't like being down here, digging through this dirt, but you know what? This is the only life that I'm going to have. I've accepted the fact that I'm going to live and crawl in the dirt with all these worms, and I'm not happy, and here I am. I still have that dream in my heart, but it's never going to come to pass. And this life is just a four-letter word, and I'm just gonna live and die and have my being as best as I can down here in the dirt. But you know what? You're like that caterpillar. That dream that was put in your heart was by God. God created you fearfully and wonderfully, and He knows everything that's going to happen. Just like that caterpillar, it needed to hit the ground. It needed to go into that space where it was going to be transformed by God. In my life, God came along and he put glory on me. But my foundation was so broken. My childhood was so broken that it was like quicksand, right? And so the weight of glory that God put on me, the whole thing came tumbling down. And God showed me, like, Heather, we have to go down. We have to go deeper. We're going to like have to put your house on stilts, but we're going to be digging in the dirt because we got to get all this quicksand up out, and we got to put reinforcements. We've got to rebuild your foundation. And for 9 years, the only thing I have looked at is dirt. And I was like, God, have you forgotten me? God, what about this big dream that you have in my life, in my heart? Like, it does not include dirt, okay? And even in this dirt, you know, there's fertilizer, right? A lot of people come and put their Shiat on you. But here's the truth, like, you're a beautiful flower by God. And that fertilizer, all that crap that those people put around you, that's going to help you bloom. When you finally get grounded where the Lord puts you and he spreads you out, right, you're going to grow bigger and taller than you've ever imagined. And this is going to happen in the presence of your enemies. All of those people who abused you, all of those people who overlooked you, all of those people who abandoned you, all of those people who did a smear campaign on you, right? Told lies about you, blamed all their narcissistic crap on you, right? Put it all on you and made everybody think that you're the bad object and they're the great, you know, the great holy one. No, all of that. The Lord is going to lift you up in the presence of your enemy, but he has to come in and fix your foundation. And now maybe you're somebody, maybe you didn't have that broken foundation, that quicksand like me from that childhood of neglect and abandonment. But maybe you're somebody, you had that solid foundation, right? The family treated you well, everything was great, but you had that like terrible divorce that happens, you know, and that was just so shameful. Or maybe that terrible situation at that job that you worked so hard to get at and they like released you. Whatever it is, and maybe that put a huge crack in that foundation, and God no longer can put that weight of glory on that, even though you were stable all of those years and you were able to rest on that foundation. But now maybe there's this huge crack. God cannot continue to build on that house. He has got to stop the building project and he has to come back down into the foundation. So he's got to work and toil in the dirt, just like that little caterpillar, right? Just like that little caterpillar. Don't lose your hope. Your wings are coming. God is faithful and true. Whatever it is that he put in your heart, it will come to pass, because God is the author and perfecter and finisher of your faith and of your destiny. He is the one that has a plan. He has a plan for you, and it is a plan to give you a hope and a future. It is not a plan to harm you. It is not a plan to knock you into the dirt and beat you down and leave you there forever. No, the enemy is just a tool in the arsenal of God, okay? The enemy is only here to help refine us. You know, the discipline of the Lord, maybe it was something that you did and it is a discipline, okay? The discipline of the Lord, the way that works is God says, don't despise it, because it shows that you're a son. It shows that he's refining, he's pruning, he's clipping things off. He's only going to take away things that don't have eternity on them. You know, I like to tell people that, like, if something left you, it needed to leave you because it was holding you back. It had a limit, right? The only things that stay, the only things that God is going to let stay is if they have your destiny on them. They're eternal, right? Because God is eternal. The plan that he has for you is eternal. So all of these things that like have dropped off from you, right? That's a part of the worms. That's a part of the dirt that you don't need. Let that be washed off of you. Praise God that God is washing that off of you. He's going to bring new and everlasting things in your life, and he's going to take you from glory to glory, right? This is a promise that he made, okay? And he will bring it to pass. So even though we're down in that valley, even though we're down in the dirt, just look to God and know that he is doing something divine, right? And maybe this situation isn't of your own fault, right? There's a lot of people that are always going to blame you. There's always that finger pointing at you, somebody, because there's a lot of people who hate your anointing, right? They hate the light that shines from you, because your light shines into their darkness and exposes their unrighteousness, right? So they want to tear you down. They don't want to lift you up. And these are people that are super close to you that are doing this divisive stuff. So maybe it wasn't even your own fault. Maybe it's like Job. Job had a whole weight of glory that was already on him, and he had that solid foundation. Even though he had that solid foundation, okay, God said, I want to show this man out. I want to show the level of righteousness in this guy. So God left that whole thing, even that solid foundation, come crashing down on Job, right? But God gave him that double portion. God gave him that double portion when he prayed for his enemies. And that's what we have to do. And it's really tough. Listen, I understand this. Not only do we have to forgive them, we have to forget what they have done. We have to forget the sins that they committed against us, because they're not really sins they committed against us. It's sins that they've committed against God. And they may have done some abominable stuff, right? I have seen some spirits of perversion in my life, okay, the real deal. But it's not for me to judge. All sin is created equal, okay? Even though I look on it and say, wow, that is really tough to look at, God says that all sin is worthy of death, worthy of eternal judgment, right? And that is what Jesus Christ did. Jesus Christ suffered for their sins and for my sins, right? And so God said you have to forgive it. I believe that you have to forget it, because that's going to cleanse your spirit. That's going to take all the roots of bitterness out of you. When you just forget about these people, you just forget about what they have done to you. They just need to go behind you. When you get your wings, okay, you're going to soar high like that little butterfly. You're going to fly away from the dirt. You're going to fly away from those little worms. You're going to fly away from all that fertilizer that people put on you, right? You're going to fly away from it. And you can't be looking back like Lot's wife, okay? And hating and dragging some of that dirt. If you put some of that dirt on your wings, if you keep remembering what they did against you, and you won't let that go, okay, that's going to weigh you down. You're going to look different than all the other little butterflies that are out there. You're not going to be as beautiful. You're not going to fly as straight. You're not going to fly as high. See, we got to let all of that go. We got to let all of that go. That is just a scheme of the devil to hold us down, okay? And that's not what we have in our hearts. What we have in our hearts is high. We need to soar high. We need to go higher than that tree that we once were in. God's going to take us up even higher. God has promised us to put us on the wings of an eagle, okay? We're going to go even further than what the butterfly can go. So use that example of the butterfly to know that God isn't just destroying you. He doesn't just want to smash you down and leave you and abandon you there. No, that's not the God that we serve. God is down in the dirt. If you're in the dirt, you're down there. Number one, the most beautiful thing about being down there is you're at the foot of the cross. And that's where life begins, because you're at the end of yourself, but now you're stepping into the territory where the miraculous opens up. That's the place where miracles happen. And just like that butterfly, in one instant, when he comes out of that cocoon where he thought he was trapped, he thought his life was over, it was dark inside of there, and he was like, this is it, my life is over. Here I am in this dungeon, in this prison. But once he came out, he realized, like, oh my heavens, all of that was beautiful. All of that was necessary for my transformation. I never would have been able to go through this transformation had I not been penned up in that cocoon, had I not gone through the dirt, okay? All of that was absolutely necessary, okay? And you thought that the devil was doing this stuff to break you down and to keep you down. No, the devil is only transforming you. He is helping to transform you. And that's why we can forgive and forget what all of our haters and our abusers and our neglectors have done to us, because they're only helping us to become who God has destined for us to be. Okay, so hold tight to your faith, hold tight to Jesus, hold tight to that dream that he put in you, because it will come to pass. It will come to pass. If he allows you to do it on your own strength, you'll think that you did it. If you didn't come to the end of yourself, you might get the credit. You might believe and go out and tell people about the mighty work of your hand. No, God gets all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory. So let him do his work. Stay down in that fertilizer, okay? Stay down in that dirt while he has you there, because he's building that reinforcement. He is going to gird you up so that he can come along and put inside of your house all the weight of that glory, and you will be able to withstand it, and you will be a beacon on a hill, and you will be able to give the light of Christ to the world just as you want to do. Your life will have a purpose. You will have meaning. You will come into the plans and the destiny that God put in your heart. I pray that this is helpful. Continue to seek God. Read the Bible, listen to the Bible, right? Get filled with it. Listen to sermons, listen to Christian music. Keep your ear gates and your eye gates and your soul fixed on God, because that's the highway of righteousness. That's where it's going to take you to where you need to be. Praise God for the work that He's done in your life, He's doing right now, and He will continue to do. I hope to see you again. God bless you. Bye-bye.